Yeah, welcome at uh, Karekaza YouTube channel, where today we are going to talk about functions of the master gland, that is the pineal gland. That is what we want to talk about. We will talk about the anatomy slightly and the the now, and we will focus on the physiology, on the avatar part. That is only avatar part. Remember, we have the avatar and the mind itself. What we want to focus much is the mind itself, as the last energy center we know is the master, the last energy center. After you have your third eye, then you have the last energy center that control all the other functions of the avatar, that control the functions of the avatar. That is what we want to talk about. So we have already said that these energy centers, as the source of our soul is the intuition, it passes the information to every other cell in our body up to the master, and it's the master that control all other functions on how your avatar should function. That is what now we want to talk about, of the last, how it functions and how it controls everything, how it control other functions. That is what we want to focus on today. If you want to have a clear picture on how pineal gland is located in our brain, like just look at the avatar, just Google pineal gland pictures in the brain and the pineal gland, then you will know that it is located at the base uh, more connected to the hypothalamus, and it's a small gland than I mean, we are talking about the pituitary gland as the master gland, while the pineal gland is linked to third eye, and the pineal gland is larger than the pituitary gland. Sorry for that. That is what we are talking about. So the today's functions we are focusing. Today's topic, we are focusing on the pineal gland. That is what we are focusing on today. And we are going to talk about also the we are also going to talk about the uh, uh, how it regulates other hormones. So if you want to have a clear picture of how it looks like, then you have to focus on it. You have to focus on uh, uh, the pictures on. If you want to have a clear picture, then just Google pineal gland and the brain, then you saw the location of it. Or just type pineal gland picture, then you are going to see the picture of the whole pineal gland on it, yeah, on its own. It's the same thing that I have also shown you on the that is on uh, 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 the thing that is on some thumbnail I have used on this stream. The thumbnail contain have the picture of the pineal gland itself on top, and it has also the picture of the brain with the picture of the pituitary gland and the picture of the brain containing the having the pituitary gland and the brain have also an arrow on what that pituitary gland is. Those are the parts and the function. So all you need is to examine it and have a picture on how it looks like. And today we are going now to focus on this stream that is. Now let's talk about the uh, anatomy itself and the function itself of the pineal gland. So it's Hopkins Medicine .org, and the title is Pituitary Gland, and the title is Pituitary Gland, and the subtitle is Anatomy of the Pituitary Gland. So it says the pituitary gland is sometimes called the master gland of the endocrine system because it controls the functions of many other endocrine glands. The pituitary gland is no larger than pineal and is located at the base of the brain. The gland is attached to the hypothalamus, a part of the brain that affects the pituitary gland by nerve fibers and blood vessels. The pituitary gland by nerve fibers and blood vessels. And another, that is the location. So if you just have if you just Google and look at the picture, then you are going to understand the the anatomy of it. You are going to vividly look at it and understand it better than just relying on the article, or just Google this. The article, it has really important information. The title is Hopkins Medicine.org. Pituitary gland. Just if you just Google, then you are going to read in detail of the function, and it also have a picture on it. Remember, this stuff I Google and bring it to you guys, because the software I'm using right now is hard for me to share the to share the to do screen share. That's why I put this information here. See, I write it up, then give it to you. Now let's look at another article is Barrow.N2 Institute, and the article name is Barrow Neurological Institute, and the function is function of the pituitary gland. So they say function of the pituitary gland, it is called master gland because it monitor and regulate many bodily functions through the hormones that it produces. That's how it functions. So growth and the function, it's called the master gland, as I have put it in on the article, because it monitors and regulates many bodily functions through the hormones that it produces. So for you to understand this in terms of what we say as energy sectors of the avatar, then you have to know that the gland that the avatar, you have, once you understand the avatar itself and in a light way, then you should also focus on understanding the glands and their functions too. That is what also you need to focus on. That is what you really also need to focus on. The glands and their functions and the hormones they produce to specific body function. Remember, the avatar is made up of cells, and the cells have different functions, and they also need different nerve impulses, different information that is given via nerve impulses. Remember the nervous system, our nervous system that control how information you should perceive things, how we should respond to different stimulus is based on parasympathetic and sympathetic nerve impulses. These they work hand in hand. Once there's once the sympathy has been sent from the brain, then parasympathetic is what do the opposite. So they work hand in hand. Remember, always there needs to be a balance for the avatar to attain its homeostasis. That is what you really need to focus on. So the function of the pituitary is called the master gland because it monitors and regulates many bodily functions through the hormones that it produces. And some of the hormones that it produces are growth and sexual reproductive development and functions. You see, some it produces hormones that focus on the gland, that is the groinal gland, pituitary gland, thyroid gland. All of that are controlled by master gland, which is called pituitary gland. And the others are organs themselves, like the kidneys, the uterus, the oxytocin and the luteinizing hormone, progestin. All those are controlled by the pituitary gland. That is on the avatar perspective. But in terms of that, we are internal source, remember, is that exists is all light. And depending on the new size of mind, what we depending on the soul itself as and the source of everything, you can even look at some other functions on how, because as long as it controls the functions of the as long as it controls the functions of every body and every energy center in our system, as the uh, as the master gland, the master energy, the last energy cell control all the functions of the body system. It means you can visualize it in terms of uh, you can visualize it in terms of high level when it has received. You can even visualize when it has received high levels of information, high levels of uh, knowledge that it needed to filter. So all that needs the pituitary gland itself. All that needs the soul itself to do that, and it's the avatar that control on how it needs to function. Yeah, that is, I think I have explained it, but in just a layman's language. Once we have a clear picture and have, once we, next time I'll go also going to function how it works, how it functions. That is the way we can, I'm going to explain better to you because it can function even outside once someone is in meditative state. Just think if someone is in meditative state, think of someone who have voices in the he hear voices in the head. Remember, we are going to relate that now to us as God as rationalists on how some kind it might functions for it to control the body itself only and its growth. Yeah, that is that I wanted to share with you guys. Bye. See you in another stream.